Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Today is August 3rd, 2019, 7 o'clock p.m. San Francisco time. And today we are going to do Emacs Lisp. I'm going to live code Emacs Lisp. I'm going to code Emacs Lisp live, and meanwhile I'll also teach you, explain Emacs Lisp. That's one of the topic. The other topic is I'm going to talk about JavaScript. There is a incident happening in JavaScript where I was talking with Brandon Ike, the guy who created JavaScript on Twitter, and so it was something unpleasant. It turned out. So so nobody's here yet. Let me see. Let's see. Let me type out Emacs Lisp live coding and JavaScript with. Okay, so that is the topic, and let's see. Why am I? Okay, wait. Something is. I mean Chinese mod. No, I don't want Chinese mod. Okay, and xah start command log mod. Okay, and in this window you will see every Emacs commands I call on the top left, and let me pop the chat out. So if you have any comments, questions, just type it. Okay, so today's topic is going to be Emacs, live coding Emacs Lisp and JavaScript. Let me get I'm kind of late a little bit, so let me prepare the windows. So move the windows here so you can see. That should be fine. Okay, so let's do let's do Emacs Lisp. Emacs. Okay, so let's see. Emacs Lisp. What I'm going to do. Okay, I know what I want to do. So let's go to my Emacs blog. So you see, this is my Emacs blog. And a few days ago, I talked about there's a Xah Talk Show episode. I talked about Emacs Conference 2019 and Emacs Meetup and live coding. So that was another Emacs Lisp tutorial. So if you are interested, you might check it out. Now this is my local version of my website. Just search for Xah Li Emacs. You'll find it, my blog, Emacs blog. Then you'll see the video. I don't have it here because JavaScript is off. So what we are going to do today, okay, I know what to do. So I suppose, so you see this is the file showing browser. This is my Emacs blog on my local computer. So I'm gonna create a new section. Hold on a second. So let me move these here so that we you can see my you can see this window. Okay, all my Emacs commands over there. So I'm going to start something. Okay, let's say something X. Okay, showing browser. You can see it's there, something X. Now I need to add to my RSS feed. Now RSS feed is this. It's basically a XML file, so people can subscribe to it. Then you'll get, whenever I update my blog, you'll also get it. So how that is done is basically, so if you go to the directory here, you see the blog.html is my Emacs blog. and this blog.xml is the web feed RSS file. Now there are several format, protocol of that. The one I'm using is called Atom. So if you are not, I talked about this before. If you are not familiar, let me show you xah-atom web feed. So I have a tutorial on the Atom web feed. So this is what the file looks like here over here. So it's basically a HTML file, and each entry, you have the header there, you have the footer at the bottom, feed. Then each entry, this is part of the header here, and each entry, so this is what one entry looks like. So today if you wrote a blog, it's gonna be like that. So this is what Atom web feed looks like. It's a XML file, which is over here. So this is my Atom web feed. You can see here's one entry, uh, August 1st, and here is another entry. This is July 29th, and here is another entry, and so on. So close the file, close it. So I need to add an entry for today's blog. I just wrote something X. I want to add an entry. So I have a command. The command is called xah-make-atom-entry. That is on my website. You can search that name, you'll find the code. So you can see it created a new entry here, with the title, HHH. Those three triple H are just template. So you have title, you have ID, you have updated date. This is supposed to be a date. ID is supposed to be unique across the universe. Okay, so guys, say hi. Okay, say hi here. Today I'm doing a live coding of Emacs Lisp, and also talk about JavaScript a little bit. So anyway, so here is the Atom entry, and you have the ID supposed to be unique across the universe. Then you have the updated date, it's supposed to be a date. Then you have the content. You see here, from here to here is the content, the meat of whatever you want to say. Then after that you have a link, it's like a alt link, so if people want to read this in detail, you can go to this link. So that's the end of the entry. So that is basically what a Atom RSS Atom web feed looks like, also known as RSS. So I just created this entry, I save it, then I close it. Then I split the window, go to eShell, and I say update my website rsync. Okay, so it's uploaded to my website. You can see there's two files gets updated. And now if you go to my blog, Xah Lee Emacs blog, you'll see the entry. You see something X. Then if you click the subscribe feed, you can see that there something X. See, so it's updated. So that is web feed. But what am I doing? I mean, what is it that we want to do? What we want to do is, okay, so I said, here I said something X, but after an hour I want to edit it. So I want to say actually something Y, and so on. Okay, when you write a blog, sometimes you want to modify or add stuff. So once you do that, you want to modify the web, the web feed file as well. You want to update it. So I copy this, I copy it. Okay, then I go to my web feed file, open it. This is the entry. I need to modify it. So remember, we changed something X to select that, paste it. It becomes something Y, and so on. So that is a new entry. But there's one more thing we should do. That is, we should update the updated tag, the date. We need to give it a date. So guys, comments, okay? Comments, opinions, questions, say hi, say where you came from, post, type, just type it. The more typing, the more better is the talk show. So we modified the Atom web feed file. We saved it, then we need to update the date. So how do you do that? So let me show you. I have a command. So let me copy that. Okay, copy this line, paste it over here, and let me show you what I'm gonna. So I'm gonna call a command. Okay, I'm gonna press Control U, then Meta X, then xah insert date. Okay, so that is my own command, xah insert date. Enter. So it asks me several options. What format do you want the date to be? You see, style. Style of the date. Do you want it to be, including weekday, like Tuesday, Thursday, or just a sequence of digits, or American style, like the date format has different styles across the world. So it asks you to pick a format. Now, in the case of Atom web feed, the format required is this number 3. Let me just press the key number 3. Okay, 3, that one. Okay, so you see the date is here. Let's do it again. Let's put the cursor here. So I'm going to, normally I just call xah insert date. Like if I just call it, it'll just insert date in this format. Year, 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 4 digits year, 2 digits month, then 2 digits date. So now it's 2019-08-03. Let's do it again. So select that, delete it, call xah insert date, enter. So we got the date. But however, if you want a different format, you can press Control U first. I'm pressing Control U. Then you call xah insert date. Then it asks you to pick a format. So we pick 3. Enter. You see. Now that is the updated date. Current date plus time, date timestamp. So this is fantastic. So what we need to do is delete the old date. Use the new date and save it. Then close it. Then go to eShell. Then call rsync again. Rsync to my web server. You see, then it's uploaded to my website. And now if you go to my Emacs blog again, click on the RSS, you can see it's updated something Y. That's what we want. Okay, so what is the problem? So the problem is, so every time I make an edit, I need to go to the XML file, open it, find the entry, then manually, put a cursor on the updated location, then call the insert date command, which is tedious. What I want is when when my cursor is in an entry, I can just press a button it will automatically update the updated date there. So that's what we want to do. Before we do that, let me show you the code for xah insert date. So here's the code, and it's also on my website here. So let's go have a look. You can copy it and use it. It's for yourself. It's very convenient. Okay, that's that's about update date. But today so what we are going to do is to write a new emacs list command that automatically find the location for the date tag and insert the new date. That is what we are going to do right now. So open a new buffer. So let me check. So far so good. 2 people. So far so good. Okay, so let me get some drink then. So I've been talking for 16 minutes. Let's continue. Let's continue then. Okay, so we want to write that a new emacs lisp command. So we're gonna learn some emacs lisp. Okay, so let's close this XML file. Close it. So back to my emacs blog. So what we're gonna do is split the buffer, open a new window. A new buffer. Then save this buffer as xx date.el. Okay, el is the file name extension for emacs lisp. Okay, so now we have a new file. Now when you open a file in .el, emacs will open it in emacs lisp mod, which is a mod for lisp. But I'm using my own. I'm using xah lisp mod. You can check it out. So let me show you. Xah lisp mod. This is the mod I'm using. Let's go to the code. So here's the source code, 3,600 lines of code, and go to my website for it. View in browser, and you can see, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's my code. So if you like it, if you like my stuff, try it. It has many features. But anyway, so let's get back to coding the new function. So we have a file here. Now we need to define. Define is how you define a function. Okay, so we got the abbreviation, the template. So we want to define a function. But first of all, let's think about what is it exactly that we want to do. So let's write it out. Typically my style of coding is to write out the kind of sketch out a documentation first. Then sketch out how I'm going to do it, like outline of algorithm. Then I code it. So what is it that we want to do? We want to, when a cursor is in a atom XML file. Okay, let's open the atom XML file here. So what we want to do when cursor, so basically overall update the date timestamp of atom RSS file. Okay, that's what we want to do. What this command is supposed to do. Now here's the details. When cursor is in a atom entry, find the, okay, then move cursor to the updated tag. Replace the date time by current date time. Okay, that is it. That's what we want to do. Okay, so now we know what we want to do. We can start to write the code. So let's say the file name will be xah-update atom date, atom entry date. Okay, that is the function name. Okay, docstring version version. Okay, let's say docstring is this. It's just some, that's our docstring. Yeah, so actually when I copy that here, we're gonna edit this and make it nice later, but for now let's just start to code. And so okay, so how do you do that? So let me show you how. First of all, we're going to this is what you do. So okay, so let, in emacs, let is how you define local variables. So you have a let and you have variables here, xy for example. Then whatever here is your code. You can use xy are the local variables. So we don't care about that. We don't need variables for now. So what we're gonna do is search backward. Okay, basically that moves cursor backwards. So what we want to search is this string, updated. So that's the string we want to search. Then you have a bunch of optional arguments. We don't care about optional arguments, so remove them. Okay, search backward, updated. Now what that is going to do is it's going to put the cursor here. Okay, so yeah, so then okay, here now we are going just to code this as a prototype. I mean, quickly. Let's not worry about details or the fine point, the most elegant way. Let's just do this as a tutorial. So now cursor is over here. Now we want to move it over here. So how many characters are there? So let's see. Let's use the emacs command, count words. So there are 9 characters. Okay, so now let's move the cursor forward 9 characters because we want to move it here. So actually, let's declare 2 local variables, p1 and p2, meaning position. We want 2 variables for cursor position, and for short, we just name it p1, p2. So set p1. So p1 will equals to we want the location. Now remember, we want the location here to here. That's the location we want, because in Emacs, when you want to delete part of the text or things like that, you need the position, the beginning position and end position. Then you can say delete it or insert somewhere, things like that. So set position 1 equals to point plus 1. Actually we can say 1 plus. Okay, it's the same thing. Let's just say point plus 1. So point returns an integer, that is the current cursor position. Okay, and now plus 1, actually we don't want to plus 1, we want to plus 9. Remember, because there are 9 characters here. So what we actually want is we want the cursor position. We want the cursor position over here. So we want to know what number that is. So this will give us that. Save it to p1. Then what we do is search forward again. Search forward. Okay. Now this time we want to search for the less than sign. so that the cursor will end up here. You know, when you in Emacs, when you use search for word, then you give it a string, the cursor will end up at the end of the string. So if you are searching for a word, the cursor will end up here. On the other hand, if your cursor is here and you search backward for the less than sign, then the cursor will end up in front of the string. You see, so whether the cursor ends up after the string or before the string depends on whether you are using search forward or backward. You know, that's how it is. So now remember our cursor is here actually. Okay, let's do this. Search forward, search backward. Okay, search backward. Then let's do this. We don't need the options. Let's make it simple. So search forward, so that then this way it's simpler. Okay, then search forward. I'm going to explain how they work. So first of all, search backward, update it. So when we that's gonna put the cursor here. Then search forward, greater sign, the cursor is going to be here. Then we save it, to p1. That's the point, the cursor position. Then we search forward. Then we actually just let's just search forward. Search forward, less than sign. Then cursor is gonna end up here. Then one character before that is the position we want. Okay, so here we can say set p2 equals to point actually -1, point -1. Okay, so this bunch of code, we have p1 and p2 that that is the position of that. Now we just want to say delete region. Delete region takes two positions, p1 and p2. That will delete like that. So now we just say insert xah insert date, that command. So hold on a second. Okay, so let's look at the command. Let's look at the command xah insert date. Okay, we want to insert date of this format. So how do we do that? There are two ways. One way is that we just call xah insert date, which is, the other way is to have the code that insert this date directly. Let's do that because that way it's simpler. Because the xah insert date is designed to use interactively. It's not designed to be used to be called in Emacs Lisp code. So this is the format we want to insert, number 3. So let's see the code for number 3. So here it is. Okay, so let's copy the code, close it, paste the code here, something like that. So we need to insert the date here. Okay, so how do we do that? Format string, this we don't need. Concat format times string. Okay, so actually the code is a bit more complicated than let's so far so good. Okay, one guy watching now. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on with the code. So we have the format code. Let's format it. So concact means join string. Okay, concatenation. Now concact, here we have two arguments to concact. One is format string, format times string, and the other one is that. Now what does format times string do? Let's call describe function to find out. Okay, so format times string, to format time, it just returns a timestamp, I think. Let's just run it, eval it. You see, okay, so let's see. Okay, so format times string, insert this string, you see. But then why do you need to, so what is this part about? That part is that part is actually, let's try it. Oh yeah, so that part is actually adding the local time difference, the time offset to the universal time, Greenwich Mean Time, or the universal UTC, universal time coordinate, UTC or GMT, because I'm in California, so it's usually 7 hours later, or 8 hours later, depending on summertime and stuff. So okay, so we know what this code is doing. So we are using concact, which is join string, and in join string we have two arguments. The first one insert a time stamp, time and date time stamp, including time. You have the date here, then you have the time here, including seconds. The second part actually insert the the time offset to Greenwich Mean Time. Now, so why is this time difference part so complicated? Let's see. Yeah, because I remember it is complicated because because Emacs doesn't have, the format time string. It doesn't have an option for you to actually add that. I looked into this when I was coding this several years ago. Must be 5 or 7 years ago. I checked in detail. So Emacs doesn't have that option. So that's why you have to do it yourself. Oh yeah. So you see what Emacs does have is this. Let's see what it runs. So let's run that. Oh, you see it. Here is what it returns. It returns dash 0700 without the semicolon, without the colon in between. But the format required by the atom actually need the colon in between. So actually this code is a bit more complicated than it needs to be, because we can actually just insert, we could, yeah, we could, but let's not worry about elegance now. So let's keep going with this. So okay, so we have the so this code insert the date time we wanted. That's right. So all we have to do is say insert there. Okay, I think that is basically it. So let's check again. So we don't need the date anymore. So we search. So let's look at the. So we search back for updated date. Then we search forward. Okay. Then we set the point. Then search forward for that. Okay. Then set the point. Then delete region. Let's do it this way. Okay, let's search forward, search backward. uh, Search forward, search backward. That. Okay, that is our code. Then okay, search forward. So we search forward and we search backward, and we set the point p2, then delete region p1 p2, then insert. That should be it. So now we evaluate the buffer. Okay, now let's test it. Okay, let's see. Let's put the date here. Let's put yesterday's date. So let's put August 1st here. You see, August 1st. Today is August 3rd. So okay, let's put the cursor here, and let's call the command we just have written. So what's the name of the command? xah-update-atom-entry-date. Okay, xah-update-atom-entry atom entry date. Okay, let's call it. Yay! So it worked. You see, the date is got updated correctly. Okay, so that is the code. That's what we want. I think that concludes the topic we want for this topic today. Let's copy the code, and let's go back to my Emacs tutorial. Insert Emacs Lisp code, paste it here, then colorify it, show in browser. You see, so that is the fruit of our effort. Okay, so that kind of concludes the topic. Now let us delete this. We don't need it anymore. Close that. So this is we did that. So any questions? So guys, say hi. Okay, say hi. I feel lonely here. So that concludes the topic. Now it's 38 minutes. We talked for 38 minutes. What else? So I was thinking to talk about another topic, which is about JavaScript. But I'm thinking maybe let's do it another time. I mean, let's talk about that topic another time, because that JavaScript topic, I have, it's somewhat unpleasant. Okay, there's an incident, so it's not exactly, it's related to design of JavaScript, but it's not related to learning JavaScript, or it's not a tech tutorial related, which is what I'm doing now. So maybe let's keep this video, uh, you know uh, let it be just a tutorial, because that way it's better for people who watch the YouTube. So any other questions on Emacs or Emacs Lisp? Any other question? Any questions? Type it, guys. Type. Check. Can you? Yeah, yeah. So type. Can you? So if there's no more, let's see. I mean, what else is there to talk about? So that's about Emacs. So let me clean up that. So yeah, okay. So that's about Emacs. What else? Okay, so one more minutes. Okay, let's sit for one more minutes, and if there's no more questions, and that'll be it for today. This is my drink, Rockstar, sugar-free energy drink, which is basically it means concentrated coffee. And as usual, this is my orange juice and pineapple juice, 100% juice, and I drink these every day for like the past 10 or 20 years. The juice, that is. The energy drink I started to drink about 5 years ago every day. Comment, post your comments. What you up to? Where you came from, and what interesting things about, yeah. Okay, so I realized when I did the video, you cannot rely on people to tell you. You cannot keep asking people to tell you topic stuff. You have to just do it. Then if people find it interesting, they will comment things like that. So about Emacs, so there's a lot of things about Emacs. Let's go to so Emacs is the greatest editor. Uh, Same thing. Let's update that so that we let's see. So let me just let me show you. I'm going to write code to update atom RSS web feed entry. Now that's one mouthful. Like originally it was known as RSS. Now um, RSS stand for something syndicate. Oh yeah, it actually doesn't have a real kind of a name. So it sometimes means RDF site summary. Then it becomes rich site summary. Then it becomes really simple syndication. This is back in the days. This is around 2001 when RSS was first created. Now it was invented by this guy David uh, Weiner. I think David Weiner. Let's search for his name. Huh? Dave Weiner. Wait, what? Hold on. So search Dave. Yeah, Dave Weiner. Now Dave Weiner is kind of a crackpot kind of guy. I don't think he's a good person. Okay. Uh, yeah, he's kind of a crackpot, kind of like Larry Wall. And he's kind of into new ageism or occult kind of stuff. And I don't like him. I don't think he's a good person. But anyway, he created that, and he's like hogging on it. He's like, as a programmer, we programmers are often uh, we programmers are often you know uh, guys, we males typically are very contentious, competitive, contentious, or even some for many aggressive, or being an asshole. That's basically male nature. And if you are like that, women likes that. That's why you have these aggression emails. Among programmers, we kind of all competitive and stuff. But Dave Weiner is one of the assholes. So he created RSS. On one hand, he a lot of people likes to say, oh, I'm kind, so this is not patented, it's open source, everyone can use. Then meanwhile, usually there's a conflict. So on one hand, typically you want, you say, oh, it's free, everyone can use. But on the other hand, often you kind of want to control it, not just for the good of the society, good of a whole, but rather you want, there is an element of like, this is my thing, okay, I want it this way, not really because that way is the best, but rather just because I like it this way. This is my opinion. Therefore, I created it. Therefore, it should be this way. There's this kind of thing, and also there's this kind of So on one hand, usually on GitHub, people avoid mentioning names. Like they avoid mentioning I created this. Because then people will say, "Oh, you are so such an ass, or you are rude, or you are not humble." Today the white people programmers, they tends to want, humbleness is like a good thing to have, because if you say, "Oh, I created this," people tend to not like that. They prefer humble, but actually the whole thing is kind of fake, because on the other hand, you can see these people, you know, they actually do want their name attached to things, like this is my thing, so anyway, so Dave Weiner with the story of RSS, that's a illustration of that situation. He, like other people create, RSS is not very good standard, because in the beginning there's no standard. I mean, it's not well specified. It's simply basically just, here's a code, here's my website, I created RSS, and just show it to the world, open source. There's no specification. Then people started to criticize and to come up with a spec. Then there's fight. Dev Weiner says, "Oh no, I don't want that." Oh, there's a fight. Lots of this been going on for several years, and different versions of RSS. But eventually, there's an Atom. Someone else. Oh yeah, Atom is created by this guy who now he killed himself. Aaron. Uh, we can find the name. Okay, Atom. Okay, RSS compared to Atom. Now, Atom is the technology that does exactly the same thing as RSS, but it's kind of like a different format. It's more well specified, and it's just better. It's a better one. And But Atom is created by this guy. So we are going into the history of computing. Many colorful stories. Atom is created by this. This guy is used to be known as a prodigy, something like a prodigy. Okay, let's find his name. Aaron Schwartz. Okay, he. Oh yeah, and Mark Pilgrim. Oh my God, a lot of history there. So other notable supporting Atom, including. So who is the guy? So who is the guy who actually created Atom? Sam Ruby. So I don't know exactly the history of Atom. Okay, Brad Fitzpatrick, who created LiveJournal. Many of these are well-known names. But anyway, so the people who support is, according to Wikipedia, the programmers who support notable supporting Atom includes Mark Pilgrim, Mark Pilgrim, Tim Bray, Aaron Schwartz, Joey Ito, I don't know who that is. Jack Park, I don't know who that is. Also, and also Dave Weiner, the key figure behind RSS2, gave tentative support to the new Endeavor. You see, tentative support. That's kind of like a polite word for, he don't like it. He don't want it. He want his own RSS. Like I created, the web feed. Anybody else shouldn't be successful. Basically, that's a polite way of saying it. Gave so why Dave Weiner gave tentative support. Why would you want tentative support? You either support it or not. So anyway, Aaron Schwartz, he's a cock. He's a asshole. Okay, he's actually an asshole kind of a guy, and very bright. But sadly, he killed himself. As most of you know, he because suicide in 2013. That's like 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Aaron Schwartz. So when Atom is going around, this is around 2001 or two or 2002 or so. Aaron Schwartz is like 15, something like that, 15 years old. So anyway, Mark Pilgrim is also an interesting guy. Mark Pilgrim, uh, he is known for a few things, but the last thing he's most well known for is like he disappeared. He disappeared from the internet. Typically especially a famous programmer. You have GitHub, you are on Twitter, you are on Google Plus. All the social networks. You have a lot of websites presence. You have your own website and domain. And one day, like all of them disappeared. Like Twitter account, every one of his messages disappeared. He did that. This is the last thing he is well known for, and people got worried. Where did he go? Then it turns out, he's fine. He's doing fine, and he just disappeared from the web because here, Wikipedia talked about it. So this is 2011. Yeah, he has several websites and he has wrote many tutorials. Dive into Python, dive into HTML5, dive into accessibility. Okay, dive into GreaseMonkey. Now, GreaseMonkey is a history, one big chapter of the history of JavaScript on the browser side. Because GreaseMonkey is a way for you to use JavaScript to customize your browser. um, you know, Back then, in the early 2000s, that is uh, a large part of JavaScript. Everyone, is talking about that, is using that. But that Grease Monkey, the whole thing disappeared, including his tutorial. So anyway, he disappeared, and also another guy disappeared. Is this Why the Lucky Stiff guy? He is very famous in the Ruby community, very famous, and also he disappeared in 2009. So I guess they call it info suicide. So this happened. So they one day they decided uh, internet is harmful, and they completely severed their online presences. I've been thinking of doing that. Sometimes I've been thinking maybe I'll do that, but I don't think so. I don't think that's something I'll do. So, comments? No comments? That's about it today. Because I'm just ranting. Uh, Mark Pilgrim, Aaron Schwartz. So anyway, that's a story of Atom, the web feed. And also there's a linguistic interest, Atom. So you have all these names, Atom syndication, uh, RDF site summary, really simple syndication, then all these names is around 2000. Then in, let's say, 2010, basically people start to simply use the phrase web feed. That's truly simple, not web syndication, like, because syndication is a word, it's rather more advanced word. If you look at the phrases and jargons, people use online or elsewhere, like the evolution of languages, often, at least for some of the programming terms, often the phrase people eventually end up using is the one that uses the most basic words. For example, web feed. Because if you look at web feed, web is just website. Website. Web can be, even a child knows what web means. Because it's spider web. It's very fundamental. 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, people would understand what spider web is. That's web. That's how primitive the word is. Web. And feed is also very primitive. Feed, feeding, eat. You need to, you circle on teats. That's feeding. You have to be alive. That's so. Web feed is a people commonly adopted word. Okay, but as then Google killed blogging. Basically, Google killed blogging readers. Then basically the entire blogging community kind of went away. Then instead, the social the social websites, social networks, so-called social network sites like Facebook, Twitter, they took over. And blogging is kind of dead, killed by Google mostly. When Google killed Google Web Reader, blogging is already kind of dead because of the social networks. Because so why did social network kill blogging? Because social network websites like Facebook and Twitter, they use psychology and any devious means to get people hooked into, and they to get people to post, and including vast amount of useless information, which gave into clickbait, which eventually became clickbait and fake news. These the things they do is very powerful. The way they shaped their servers. So it's so powerful. It's more powerful than good content. Because when people see good content and bad content in general, everything being equal, people will love the good content. Good content meaning you spend time on it. Let's say you spend 3 hours to write it instead of 1 minute. Let's say you researched, you spend one day to research something, or it's written by a professor who had 20 years of experience on the subject. That's what makes good content. Bad content is just anyone can write anything, just opinions, typing anything. So in general, people like good content, and people will thumb up, like, spread the good content. Now, this is how good content, spread by word of mouth, which is a primitive way we humans, support, bubble up the good things we want by word of mouth. But in the digital age, the social media and that they thwarted the whole thing. So today, because Twitter, because they use psychology and cell phone, all kind of tactics, so that today in general the bad content thrive. Now, not exactly bad content. It's not like here's a good content, here's bad content, and people love the bad content. It's not like that, but rather it's not exactly bad content thrive, but rather content that's more dramatic, content that is anger, emotional, that those thrives, and dramatic, like accidents, blood, crying, girls, pretty girl crying, those kind of thing, or injustice. Someone died, someone got killed, someone killed himself, things like that. Political, like intrigue. Some people did so big thing, bad things. Those kind of content thrive. Normally they thrive too, without technology. Normally those content thrive too, because often they invoke some sort of emergency. Because normally, like every day, if I suddenly cry very loud, that means something happened. Something happened. My neighbors or my roommate will come. Hey, what's up, Xah? Are you okay? That is a natural way. It's like a siren. It's a natural siren. So including emotion, emotion. Like if you hear some girl is crying on the street, you will go check it out. See, hey, what's up? Are you okay, or something? Or something. That's a natural way for us to focus our attention on certain things. So, but in digital age, that became, because of the Facebook and Twitter push for it. So that becomes so widespread, and that basically wipe out all the good contents. Because today, if you write something good, the problem is it's not, people don't even see it, because you write something, you spend one day to post, write something that's really quality content on any subject, but when you post that, there are 1,000, literally tens of thousands posts all over that's brainless. The people just shout, cry, oh, this something, something, something. You know, your post gets buried. Plus, this social media, Facebook, Twitter, they have likes. So that people tends to like the most stupid, the common thing, like cat pictures, memes. That's why you have memes. You have go viral. The phrase go viral, something go, everyone is trying to do something viral usually. And our viral, you might think, oh, maybe because the viral content is came from someone who spent 10 years studying something and finally wrote one essay. That's how good it is, that's why it go viral. No, the things that go viral, if you look at them, they are basically all cat pictures, the most um in a sense valueless to the prosperity of humanity. They are the garbage. uh those, so you have these things go viral, means cat pictures, kind of filthy, quotes, empty things. That's a situation of so that is why the social media kind of took over blogs. Then Google killed blog, Google Reader. That basically that's the last nail in the coffin for blogs. And so today, rarely you find good information when you try to search. Then you see, besides the like and all the stuff, then Google, Facebook and Twitter, then they start to use algorithms to control. They actually control information. So why they control it? So that they wanted to, they want only to show you information that you find pleasing. If you like something, they tend to show that to you, not anything you don't like or disagree. Because so that way they get more traffic, they make more money, more ad money. People, um, then but um, yeah, so then they start to control algorithmic information. Then what you get is the bubbles. Then there's political bubbles. Then and it becomes so bad today. Then people got angry. Politicians, and then you start to have censorship. This is almost a description of the past 10 years, or 10 to 20 years of the history of social media, communication on the web. Well, I didn't, well, since you have blogs, but there's another period when you don't have blogs. There's another. Anyway, that's a story. So that's it for today. Greetings, Yelling Lion Studio. Yelling Lion Studio. Great name. So where you from? So you guys came so late. Like I was. So in the first 40 minutes, I did live coding and tutorial of Emacs Lisp. I wrote this code. So that's the first 40 minutes. Then, I was about to. Oh, this is. I'm in Northern California, near San Francisco. Greetings to Sydney. So the first 40 minutes is about Emacs Lisp coding. Then I started to ramble about RSS webfeed technology and Atom technology. And in turn, I mentioned their creators and the history, a bit of a story of their creators, because that's uh, interesting, because, Mark Pilgrim and Aaron Schwartz, who killed himself. And, then we started to talk about the history, kind of the history of the blogging, how Google Reader killed blogging. Well, social media actually did, and then Facebook, then the like button, how information becomes hard to, good information becomes hard to get. Then, today we have political chaos, online, and censorship and all the anger. What language do I know? Okay, so you must be new. Uh, so, well, I code a lot of languages, so I can, so I have a bunch of programming language tutorials. Uh, JavaScript, Golang, Python, Ruby, PHP, Java, and Clojure, and So actually, I love languages. I've been coding for like 20 plus, 30 years now. Um, Matthew Sosa, he's a Emacs Jedi coding all languages. I think that's it for today. So, oh, you just found my channel. Thank you. Yeah, YouTube is interesting. I started to do YouTube videos like every day for 4 months now, and I noticed like a lot of people, new people, start to they found me via my YouTube videos, not via my website, because I was thinking, because I'm an old timer, because I've been writing blogs for like 20 years. So, and I have, Emacs people followers. So I tend to think, then they say, my Emacs people followers, they say, oh, you are starting to make videos. Then they go to my video. But it seems like there are a lot of people who found me via my videos only. So that's very interesting. And the interesting thing about that is, like, you see, that is the power. That is the power of YouTube. Yeah, I mean, YouTube, the video format is really extremely powerful. I mean, we mentioned this before because the YouTube, because talking and seeing is the primary way humans communicate. Writing comes later, and writing also takes education, to be able to write and to be able to read. But most people can go by visual communication. So the video, so that is why I think YouTube became, it blew up, became so popular, and you can, like, today you can find every topic on YouTube. It may be programming, math, sciences. A lot of people do sciences, why this happens, or why, or space. Then you also have gamers, of course. Then you have girls makeup. Then girls as their celebrity, like almost everything, like cars. Cars. Everything you can find on YouTube now. On my Discord, if you want to geek out a bit, I have about 14 years of experience. Oh, okay. So, Discord, well, well, okay. I'm on Mastodon. If I think Discord is connected to Mastodon, is it? Like, I'm not on Discord. Uh, so I'm on Mastodon, but yeah. So okay, so thank you guys for coming. That's it for today. Yep. Bye guys.